Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sunniva.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Trickerion with the upcoming Arcane Arts expansion.
This Arcane Arts expansion is a part of the 10-year anniversary for Trickerion, which is coming to a crowdfunding site near you. Probably already out there when you see this video. And it's been 10 years.
Yes.
It's quite... I feel like that is when people say like, oh, it's 10 years anniversary. I was like, no. That was like 4 years ago, but that must make sense either. So it's 10 years ago, and I backed this way back 10 years ago, and because of the theme.
And you never do that.
No, but because this is about magic.
Yes.
And one of the one of the persons in the game, the gentleman magician, I think, is an actual magician, and I remember recognizing him because he just won some competition, the World Championship, and I was recognizing him. I was like, this is a board game, also my life. I need this now. And we got it, and it was super heavy. And this was, we had gotten into some heavier games, but this was, and I think this might have been the first Mind Clash games. It was at least the first Mind Clash game that we got, and it melted my brain. Like trying to get this trick combination, building up to the tricks, to get new tricks, all of that just like melted my brain. Now, 10 years later, we have played this now with the expansion a few times, and is it now very simple and easy to play?
No, not at all. This is a game that very much melts my brain to this day. But now, when we played it the first time, you played it and decided you're not gonna play it for a few years.
Yes.
And I was very happy about that decision, because even now it's really good, but it's also painful.
Because you didn't play it 10 years ago. Because I don't think you would have been able to understand the thing. So this video, it's not really a review of the game, because the game is great. I really like the game.
Yes.
I'm very happy that we got to play it a few times more now, because it's been one of those games that I would have loved to play more over the years. But we are never good with expansions, so this is not a video where we're going to talk about this together with the other expansions, because we only played the base game and the Dark Alley, which is like the complete game in the base box. So this is going to be more like, if you haven't played Trickerion, I'm going to do like a brief overview, and we're going to talk a bit about Trickerion. And then at the other end of you can look at the timestamps, we are going to talk about the new expansion that is going to be part of the 10-year anniversary. That is the video. If you like videos where we do things like that, you can
subscribe.
Yes, because it's
free
and
fun.
Awesome. Let's talk about Trickerion. In Trickerion, you are magicians, and this is kind of a nice world because they do magic tricks, but magic also exists.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. Like, they still do card manipulation, but probably more magical than we normal muggle magicians do. And they do also actual magic, which is pretty cool. So there's different schools of magic. You have this book. Can you show the book of magic?
The Magician's Workbook.
And in there you will have all of the tricks. There's also like, this is one of the better player aids that I've ever seen in a game. It has everything you need, from tips and tricks to how to play the game better.
It has tricks.
And all of this, it actually has a lot of tricks in it. So this game is all about getting tricks, planning them, going to the market to buy the supplies that you need to do the tricks, then actually learning the tricks. And to be able to learn them, you need more fame, because to be able to get the secrets, this is probably how it was back in the day. Not anymore, because it's easy to get the secrets, but they're boring, so don't do it in real life magic. But here you have to have fame, so you need to get points. And to get points, you need to learn tricks and perform them in the theater over here. And to be able to do that, you need to have gotten the materials, learned the tricks, gotten new assistants up here, and then go to the Dark Alley maybe to do some mixing and tricking, getting some special cards that will give you special abilities when you do a specific action. And all of these things you're trying to do in the best way possible without your brain exploding. Because that is not an easy thing. And I really just need to say that this is, as you said, I'm just going to say it as well, this game just melts my brain. But let's talk a bit about the things in this game that we do like. For example, it has a pretty cool action planning system.
Yeah, because it's in its core worker placement game, but you're not placing each worker like this. Well, you are, but at the beginning of your turn, you have a hand of cards that have these different action spaces on them, like the areas for the actions. So you are kind of programming what you're going to do, but not the order of the actions. So then everybody reveals where they're going, and you see, okay, oh, you are both going there. That is really important for me. I'm going to snag that space first.
And you are hinting then on a thing that makes this game great for many people and probably horrible for other people. It is a very interactive game.
Yes.
And it can be mean. Like, not always in ways where you try to be mean, but sometimes me doing the thing before you, because like timing is so crucial.
Yes.
Because I might need very much to go to a specific place there, but also a specific place there to make my thing go, like my plan work out. And it's so much to think about the timing and getting it done. When I say mean, there might be times you play this game and you can snag out a trick before somebody else, because there's a big pile of tricks. They're supposed to be on top of the board. We haven't set up everything as a game, as we usually just set up to make it show the examples. There's a lot of tricks, but if I learn the zigzag lady, in this world of magic, everything is exclusive. Not like in the real world where everyone can do the same trick. If you learn the zigzag lady, I can't, and nobody else can.
Yes.
So you have to keep an eye on the materials for the other players and try to see, okay, so they're going for that. And most of the time, for me at least, I'm then going to try to go in a slightly different direction, because it's not going to be, if that's not my plan, it's not going to be good for me to go that direction and try to steal that before you. But it's like something, I have played games for this, where somebody goes to have planned so much, go to learn a trick, and then find out that I learned it the last round and not be very happy with it.
Yeah, and this is a game where the balance between something being really good for you and something falling apart and crumbles in your plan, like there's, yes, tiny mistakes, and like as you said, the timing is very crucial, and also kind of the planning between your
long-term plan,
but also the tactical decisions that you have to like pivot at the last second, because yes, something has changed.
For example, trying to sneak in a trick in a performance, because there's going to be performances. So whenever I like perform a trick or I try to plan for a performance, I might not be the like main performer for that event. So the main performer, the player like triggering the card, is going to get some bonuses, but I want to make sure to have some tricks here and there so I know I'm going to get some points. So even though I might not use my magician, which has 3 action points, which is like a very powerful thing, the assistant only have 1, so it's going to be like less useful. It's going to be more important for me to be able to maybe use that otherwise, but I will go in here with a special helper, for example, and be able to plan tricks in performances I think the other players are going to perform. And also you have the market, which is going to change.
Yes, and that depending on what people put into the market, you can also influence this yourself. You might change what tricks you're going to do. What also I think is cool is that this feels like an engine builder, because you are, if you're playing well, you are getting more and more points. You need points to get further along in this game, and then you get to do more tricks, which give you even more points. And also in the beginning, you don't have anything to perform on the stage. So you're using your action points on these locations, but as the game progresses, you will probably wish to perform more often, and thus you need more workers. So yeah, you get into this flow where you get to do more and more, hopefully.
I think that this points threshold is a very interesting thing.
Yes.
I haven't seen in many games, because in many games, victory points in the beginning might not be that important, because you, for example, you might get tricks that gives you a lot of coins, because coins is going to be super important. And then you're like, oh, but I don't need the points. But then you remember that, oh, to be able to get more points, I need points.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like points is a resource as well as the thing that gets you to win the game.
Yes.
And I think that's very clever, and it also makes it so that everybody has to go here and fight for those spots and fight for the performing the best things to get the most points even at the beginning of the game. Because some games where you play, you could be like, oh, I'm going for the instant points, which I usually do. And then you will sit back and be like, I have no points, but at the end I get 16,000 points at the end of the game. So there's so many things to enjoy about this game. Now when we play to get ready for this video, we got to play it a few times with 2 players, which we haven't done before.
No.
Would you recommend this game at 2, just like briefly before we go into the expansion?
Yeah, I think it works really well at 2. I think that when we play with the duel of magicians, like way of playing, it works with 2. But I wouldn't get this game to play purely with 2 players because I think it shines with 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it works well. I think like the big problem, like you need those cards. The cards are telling you 2 spaces to block. But what happens is that in a 3 or 4 player game, I might gamble on sending 2 people to downtown and hope to be able to do that before somebody else. But when you're playing a 2 player game, the chances of me getting to do that is almost 0.
Yeah.
So it's getting to the point where I'm going to go 1 person there, maybe like one of these may be skipped and I'm probably going to go to the workshop. And we might not be pros at the game, but that is how it's feeling for us to play it as 2 players. Now, let's talk about the Arcane Arch expansion, which is the new content for this crowdfunding 10-year anniversary edition. Just a brief little overview of what it is, and then we're going to talk a bit about it. And this is what I would call a module expansion. It's not modular, which means it's not like multiple modules, but it feels like you're adding a module to the game more than you're adding a expansion where it's like, oh, this is going to change the game drastically. I think though, if you play the game like 50, 100 times, this is going to be something you're going to be like, oh, this is a brand new opening for us. In the expansion, there is a board over here. There's going to be some of these enhancements. You're going to have 2 dice. You're going to have 4 of these special workers. You're going to get 4 of the cards that are reference cards for the special workers. There's going to be a bag of these enhanced Trickerion shards in this same color as the rest of the expansion, and this little wagon. This wagon basically symbolizes this board. And this is interesting because this is an expansion or a location that's going to move. So it's going to be here, and it's going to go over here, and it's going to go over here. If you play with one of the expansions, which has another location, it's going to move to that location as well. So when I am this round at the market roll, I will be able then to also interact with this. And what can I do at this location? I can buy these, which are going to be basically Joker resources. So if I have one of these, I can place it here like a normal resource. And when I prepare a trick, I can use this as if it was resources worth 2 coins. If I do that, I will have to place this on the trick, and it's now enhanced with that. So if at the end of the round, this die over here has the same symbol as one of my tricks that gets performed, and it is enhanced, I will get the bonus from the other die. So you can also use energy here to manipulate 1 or 2 of the dice, and then they get locked up at the theater. If you have more of the same, you can use them also as 4, and then you only lose 1 of them. So you can use 2 of these as 4, and then as 2 at another trick. You can also buy special workers, going to be 1 available each round, and you can enhance your Trickerion shards to these super duper green bluish. Would you call this green?
Turquoise.
Turquoise is the color, and they can be used either as a double Trickerion shard when you are adding power over here, or it can actually be used as a single Trickerion shard here to get 1 more energy. And that is basically what the expansion is.
It's very easy to add to the base game because
100%.
It's very little rules. You can easily play just ignoring it and you can still win. And I think it opens up some new possibilities also with the fact that it actually moves. So you have other reasons to go to some of the locations, some of the rounds.
I really like that because you might not have wanted to go to the Dark Alley this round, but Wagon is here, and then you're thinking, okay, I have enhanced my trick with this, so I could go and change this die to the one I wanted to, and then lock the dice, or I could go and get 1 more. Let's say I have another one I have 1 of, I can get another one of that, so I can use that as a discount. And also the special workers are pretty fun. You have like the Golem, which is 3 energy, so 3 action points, but you have to play him first or last.
Yeah, and also he costs you one Trickerion shard at the end of turn instead of money, so he's quite expensive.
And you're losing 4 points if you can't pay that. Or you have the Shapeshifter, which is basically can be any other type of worker. So when you place a Shapeshifter in the theater, when you perform there, you can choose the bonus you want for that, even enhancing one of your Trickerion shards. So all of these are very like small things, but all of them is going to be, I think, a nice addition to people who have played the game. Like all of these kind of expansions to games, this game is enough for you to play in the beginning, like the base game.
Yes.
But this is a very easy thing to add. So let's say you have played it a few times and you're playing with new people. This is not like a lot of rule overhead, and it's not like they're going to instantly lose if they're just like, oh, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to do the other thing, and you can enjoy the expansion. You might win if you played a game 10 times and I played it 0 times because you are better at the game.
Yes.
So that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it, that it gave you some ideas about this game. If you are interested in it, you can check it out in the link that is down there in the description. If you like us, that are people from Norway, speaking about board games and stuff, mostly board games, a little bit of stuff here and there, what can you do to follow along?
You can subscribe to the channel.
It's a pretty cool thing you can do. You click a button and then and also if you click a little bell, ding, 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 you get a notifications.
Prize. No, okay.
Yes, the prize is to see a new video when we make them, which is usually 2 times a week, so you can check out more board game content. We have hundreds of videos on the channel already. Thank you for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.